Singaporeans, do we still have a government? Does our government has a conscience? 贴批到底有没有良心？在贴批的统治下，新加坡人的命会更惨。Someone was telling me at the back, the government says they give us housing, but they take our money to build our housing and then sell it back to us and get more money from us. It is all our money. Now we have a next speaker who needs no introduction. No, it's not Wei Wei. It's Mr. Leong Sze Hian. He will share with you more about the statistics.
新加坡人，你们很可怜呐！各位很可怜啊！刚才讲到很可怜啊，没有米呀，没有米呀，没有良心啊！为什么你们这么可怜？你们的祖屋是全世界最贵的，你算祖屋的价钱。 跟你的收入比较，我们新加坡的祖屋是没有的，独一无二的，全世界最贵的。那么每年他怎样跟你说？哦，我们卖祖屋给你哦，没有赚钱呢，我们亏钱呢。上一任的部长说亏2 billion dollar 啊。 现在的部长说亏1 billion dollar， 这些我跟你说，全部都是废话来的。为什么是废话？给个例子给你，大家就跟你说，哦，我卖一盘鸡饭给你3块，那么你去那个高级的饭店你要给5块，所以我给你2块的津贴，所以我没有赚钱，但是他不敢跟你说。 这个鸡饭，他是用多少钱做出来卖给你？是1块而已，所以我们的介入局赚很多钱的。You know Singaporeans are very poor thing because every year we are told illogical things and we take it. For example, every year they tell you, oh, HDB flats are very affordable. What do you mean now no more? Always no more lah. This is the best, you know. Every protest is there with a play card. Hello, all the camera all zoom there. See, play card with this one, whistle, PP, this one champion. Applause for her, okay? I was saying, they always tell us nonsense. They say, oh, HDB very affordable. Why? Because the people who own HDB flat, on the average, only use a quarter of the income to pay for the flat. So very affordable ma. Your ordinary account is 23%. If you use 25% of income to pay HDB, almost all your mortgage can be paid using your CPF. So, you earn less than 1,000 also can afford the HDB flat. You know why this type of reasoning is rubbish? Because if you cannot afford to buy the HDB flat, will you buy it in the first place or not? No! So after you buy, of course you can afford the flat. Then you cannot afford to pay, you were given up the flat. So everybody who is reading the HDB flat, if you use this type of statistics and reasoning, forever is affordable.
They make you a slave.
You know, once upon a time, when all HDB loans were given by HDB, no bank loan, and it's peak, the highest ever, 40,000 HDB flats cannot pay. More than 10% of all the HDB flats. So the statistics were so bad, What did they do? From 1st January 2003, they allow banks to offer HDB loans. So now, when you ask, how many people cannot pay? They say, oh, I can tell you how many cannot pay use HDB loan. But I cannot tell you how many people cannot pay using bank loan. How many of the bank loans are foreclosed by bank? Oh, we cannot tell you also. It's funny, right? Now, whenever you ask how many people cannot pay, how many people the house get foreclosed, you are given but half the story. Only the HDB loan, the bank loan, they say don't know. But you know what's funny? You check back the parliamentary records. I think in 2003, one time, in reply to a question in Parliament, they did disclose the area statistics for HDB bank loans as well. So how come last time can tell you, now cannot tell you? You know, Singaporeans are very good thing because our HDB is a bit like a minefield, you know. Sometimes you step wrongly, you will explode in your face. Let me give you an example. You know that the moment you turn 55, all your ordinary account goes to the retirement account. So, cannot use to pay for house anymore. You know, one lady wrote to the newspaper, she said, hey, I didn't know, you know, so transfer all my money to the ordinary account that I cannot use to pay house, I got no money to pay, yes, you have to sell a house. So what do they tell you now? Say, oh, don't worry. After 55, we will allow you to use half of your retirement account to pay for housing. But read the wording carefully, is half of the retirement account provided you have more than half the CPF minimum sum in your retirement account. And that is now 77,500. Next year, the minimum sum go up to 161,000. You need 80,500. What does that mean? That means when they tell you, you can use your retirement account to pay for housing up to half the minimum sum after 55. It is provided you have more than half the minimum sum in your RA. And a lot of people don't have half. So you don't have half, no money to pay for housing. You know why Singaporeans are very poor thing? We contribute the highest contribution rate in the world, 37% for CPF. And yet when it comes to 55, you know how many people can meet the minimum sum? Over 155,000. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, we discovered that as of 1st January 2003, you must meet the CPF minimum sum, you must also meet the Medisave minimum sum before you can withdraw any money from your CPF. So effectively, your CPF minimum sum is not just 155,000. It is now 198,500. So you got to ask yourself, how many Singaporeans who reached 55, like last year, at 198,500? So back to the question. You're very poor thing because how many people can meet the minimum sum?
Very less.
Actually, nobody knows. You know why? Every time they ask the question in Parliament, the answer is like a jigsaw puzzle, you know, like a riddle, right? But we kind of like made some calculations. So we estimate that Singaporeans who turned 55 last year, who can meet the 198,500, both the CPF and Medisave minimum sum, is less than 15%.
Yeah.
Only about 1 out of 8.
What for minimum
So
sum?
you contribute the most, then when you retire, you have so little money. So you can meet. Why? Because it was also disclosed recently that roughly you are using 55% of your CPF to pay for your HDB. So most of your money is gone to the housing.
Yeah.
Now, what is the latest? Oh, if you are old, you have no money, no problem. You can sell your HDB flat back to HDB. It's called the Lease buyback scheme. This one is the most poor thing. You know why? You are poor, you have no money, and yet they ask you to sell your house to HDB, and in this sale, we have calculated, based on one example they gave in the media recently, one flat You do this, you lose $700,000. Who make the $700,000? Who make the $700,000?
Yang ini sakit money paksa.
Let me give you the detailed calculations. In this example, 3-room flat worth 320,000. Stay for another 30 years. After 30 years, you are still alive. HDB said, don't worry. At that time, we'll tell you what to do, whether how much you must pay if you happen to live beyond 30 years. For giving up your flat and stay for 30 years, what you get in return? In this example, $134,000 for you to top up your CPF so that you can enroll in CPF Life and get a monthly income. Then give you a 20,000 silver housing bonus. That means in total, you give up the future equity of your flat for only $154,000. In other countries, how a reverse mortgage works? You take money out, and then when you die, they take the market value, they pay off the loan and interest that you have taken, the balance they give to you. In Singapore, it doesn't work like this. In Singapore, in this example, you lose $700,000. Why? Because if you take the $154,000 and you assume that the interest that they charge you is 5%, and you assume that the HDB flat will increase by 5%. By the way, HDB in history increased about 6%. So next 30 years it increased 5%. Your flat will be worth about 1.4 million. 1.4 million the flat you give up. What you get back? 154,000. Opt into CPF Life, get a monthly income. So if you calculate 5% on the 154,000, it works out to about 700,000. So you have lost 700,000. And now even more poor thing, on National Day rally, good news Singaporean, now 4-room flat also can use Lease buyback. If 3-room lose 700,000, 4-room lose how much? We estimate, it worth 4,000, you lose 900,000. Walao, sorry I thought like this. If every poor man has to lose 700,000 or 900,000, because he is Singaporean, in another country you don't have this problem.
Yeah.
Sell back Taiwan!
Ada kami beli lepas.
Sell kidney, sell back Taiwan! Sell now!
In the previous protest, we already told you, your CPF, because you're only getting 3+%, and we estimate that they invest your money, they get at least 6%. On the average, every Singaporean will have lost maybe about $1.5 million. So it's so poor thing. Your CPF, you lose 1.5 million. Then you do Lease buyback, you lose 900,000. Altogether, you lose 2.4 million. No wonder Singaporeans are, latest they have Singaporeans of all the countries in the world, which country sleep the third least? Singaporean cannot sleep because very stressed. Now, I'm not going to stress you anymore because we are running behind time. I'm going to introduce the next speaker.